Well, he already had the idea for Dog Altogether, which was the first 10 minutes of the film, and then it was just extended for the feature. He already had that idea, and then and he always knew he wanted Peter, and then he says that. Because I remember very clearly our first meeting, because I was slightly in love with Paddy Considine from afar, and I was very excited in the first rehearsal that he was coming in, and I held the door open for him. And he decided, apparently, that was the point where he said, "Oh, she'll be fine for the film." All right, always hold the door open. That is the motto. It was a bit of a shock. Yes, because in the short, it's Joseph's story, and you just see Hannah she's called something else then, but in the shop, and she prays for him. And it was only after the short that Paddy says that people would ask him, where do these characters go? They wanted to know more. And that's when he thought he was going to do another short about Hannah's story. But he thought when people said that, that was an interesting idea. And he wondered mainly if Joseph was right in his assumptions about her life. And that's when he decided to show that Joseph was wrong about his assumptions. And he wrote the film, the Tyrannosaur, in a week. It's pretty amazing. At one point, I think they had $1 million or a bit more, and then some of the finance fell away. And Paddy, in his inimitable style, just said, "Fuck that, I'll make my fucking film." So he said, "Let's do it for whatever we've got now," and did a beautiful job. And all the way through, he said, "We're not making a little film, we're making cinema," and I think that shows. I was nervous because he'd taken quite a punt on me, and I didn't want to let him down. And but also, there's a big part of you that goes, "This is what I've dreamt of since I was about 12, and somebody's given me a chance to do it." Well, Paddy filmed everything chronologically, which was a treat and a huge help, and that was the scene I was most nervous about. But because it came near the end of our 4 weeks, and Paddy made us all feel incredibly safe, and because he knows what it feels like. Well, preparing for it, it was really all on the paper. It was all in the script, and because it was chronological, so you had the memory of everything that had just happened, and which really helped. And I suppose a certain element of fear as well, of nervousness of doing it right and not letting Paddy down helped. And recovering from it, it was fine because the process was cathartic. And having a massive cry like that is, you just go, well, again, it sounds awful, but go to the pub again. So I think, particularly with me, he wanted me to feel safe because of the situations that Hannah was in. For example, the scene where Eddie James is apologising and his head's in Hannah's lap, and Paddy was sort of wedged under the bed right next to me, and going, "What cunt did you? What a fucking..." And he's right there, so it's like your conscience and his voice in your head, and it makes it so easy, and if that's the right word, but he was always there. He wasn't in another room on a monitor shouting through somebody else's directions. He was there, and so it felt, well, I suppose easy. Yeah, kind of. He is an extraordinary sort of character, and you could fit everybody in the cast and crew. If Paddy gave you the thumbs up, you could feel people doubling in size, and just one of those people you just want to make him proud of you, and you want to make his vision come to life. And I don't know how he does that, but I've never met anyone quite like it. But he knew that Eddie is a sort of consummate actor. He's very professional and he's brilliant. And we knew each other before. Eddie and I had done a job together before, so that helped. And as Paddy says, you don't want a method actor anywhere near this shit. So and Eddie would do the thing and then straight after go, "All right, mate," and it was all, Yes, I didn't know the end, how it would end, and I find it hard to think of her as a murderess. It feels like that feels like too strong a word. I really felt for her. She was written so beautifully, such a, you sort of can't help but love her, and I just felt so terribly sad that she was in this situation. I think people, I don't know, when you watch the film, you wish you could help her, and a little bit of you cheers a bit that she got away, and she got away in quite a brutal fashion, but fuck him. My mum, I was worried about my mum watching it, and she saw it twice. But she came out going, "I don't agree that it's depressing. It's redemptive and it's beautiful." And I think she's right. I think you do hope at the end that they will go on to lead to something different, because love is the thing that goes all the way through it. They want love. They give love to the wrong people. But it's what saves them, and I like to think they will. You know, I think they're sort of platonic soulmates, and they will always help each other and be all right eventually. I can't remember now if that's written in the stage directions or not, but certainly I don't believe Hannah, when she was saying, "Of course I forgive you," I don't believe that she meant that, but she's learnt that she has to placate for fear of any more violence, and so when he puts his head down, that's just what is natural to her, that she hates him. She's gone beyond loving him now. So, and Paddy was, as I say, wedged under the bed going, "What he did to you," and you know, so it made sense that that's where she went with it. So I approached, as you know, there are lots of charities that support victims of domestic violence, men and women, but one of the bigger ones, Refuge, they had two people who they could afford to give me some time with them, because everyone else is engaged in important work all the time, and they gave me, more than anything, one case study in particular, which I read, which was 100 times worse than anything you saw on screen. It was a real woman going through something. If it was a horror film, it would be hard to watch, and they answered a lot of my questions, and after reading that, and she ended up killing her husband. It was her only option to escape, because in this particular case he started to turn on the children, and that wasn't so she shot him, and she went into witness protection, and I don't know what happened with her sentencing, but she had torture every day of her life with this man. Suddenly it really hit home that Hannah was one of 1,000 or more people going through this every day, and I really didn't want to do it lamely. I felt if they're going to watch this, I wanted them to have a voice, and I wanted to do it justice for them. And Paddy gave you the confidence to throw yourself in and do it properly. It was perfect. It was, everyone felt like they were involved in something special. Everyone felt like they were playing an important part in it, and we all knew each other very well, and it never felt peculiar having those people on set with you. I keep using the word safe, but it did feel like that. It felt like you could go to places and everyone was with you. It was lovely to have a small crew that we all knew. Yes, well, the two women I spoke to, I only had an afternoon with them just answering questions, and they gave me the case study, and they had seen the film, and that them thanked in the acknowledgements at the end of the film, and they said they'd like to use the film in prisons, in women's prisons as well, and
very good.
Yeah, which is great. I have no idea. Not a clue. I know now, though, before learning a bit more about it, I think I was the first one to say, I'd get out. I wouldn't stay, I'd get out. And now I will never say that again. I had no idea the level of fear that these women, there are degrees of it. Some men as well stay in a relationship which is unpleasant, and you could go. Once it gets to that level, it's also a lot of what I found out about is most murders occur at the point where the women actually try and leave. So the violence, the loss of control of the perpetrator ramps up, and so leaving isn't an easy option, and children are involved, and the threats, if you go, I will, do unspeakable things to them, or I will go around and see your mother, you can't go anywhere for fear that you will take this violence to other people. I have to say, the estate where the charity shop was and where Joseph's character lived were by far friendlier, much friendlier than the estate that Hannah actually lived on, which is kind of what Paddy had in his head anyway, and it was true. The women who worked in the charity shop were lovely, and because he shot chronologically, so it wasn't everything in one location for a week. We'd go, we'd leave, we'd come back. For them it must have been a right pain in the arse, but they were lovely about it and very welcoming. The people who had less that we came across were by far the friendliest people. So they were filming one day, and I think they held up with rain, and this guy came out with a dog around his waist, sort of pulling the weight of the dog. And Paddy went, "All right, mate, do you normally want your dog like that?" "Yeah." All right, great. I said, "We've got to do that, mate." Yeah, well, he always said make it your own, but the script was so beautiful that we didn't go away from it really at all. And he said he learned from Pavel Pawlowski, which is that name wrong. But he would always introduce the area that you're filming in, and the guy in the wake, the guitar, the busker, he was annoying them all he was a real busker in Leeds, and they were in Leeds one day filming. And this guy kept jumping in front of the camera and seeing right down the lens. He was going, "Mate." And they said, "Can you write a song about Jack and how we miss him? And can you go back on Thursday? Right now, fuck off." And so he went away and he came back and he sang that song in the wake. And all the people in the wake were the locals in the pub. This is exactly the opposite of here. So everyone here goes, "What made you make the transition from comedy?" Which is a hilarious question. What made you choose the best job of your life? And there, it's so apparently you do comedy. So it's, you don't really sort of funny, don't fit anywhere. People find it very hard that you do two different things. My lovely friend Sharon and I were saying that we're all just actors, comedy or and I think I'll be talking out of turn, but most people in comedy really want to do this, but they don't get the chance to because people they can't see beyond what they put you, the box they put you in.